Come to Lethbridge and join an innovative community for entrepreneurs. With more than a quarter of the 100,000 population under the age of 34, Lethbridge brims with energy. We'll help you to kickstart, innovate, and grow. Lethbridge, Southern Alberta's hub for innovation and technology. It's the right choice for business builders. Go to chooselethbridge.ca/entrepreneur and we'll help you move and grow in Lethbridge.
Welcome to Canada's podcast, the #1 podcast for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs.
Hello and welcome to Canada's podcast with Mario Toneguzzi. Joining me today is Erin Crane, who is Director of Investment Attraction for the Economic Development Lethbridge. Thanks for joining us today, Erin.
Thank you, Mario. Thrilled to be here.
Well, let me just start by asking you what Economic Development Lethbridge is and what it does, and what its main purpose and mission is.
Wow, that's a big question to start, Mario. And economic development has a really big scope and means different things to many different people. Its definition really is that it's the programs, the policies, and the activities that seek to improve the economic well-being and quality life of a community. Here at Economic Development Lethbridge, we actually are governed by a very large board of community members. They make up representation from each one of the sectors here in our community. And they actually created a really great business plan for us here that has kind of 6 pillars to the business plan. And the first one of that is business retention and expansion, right? You really have to look at the businesses that you have and figure out how you keep them and how you keep those businesses growing.
Mm-hmm.
Piece of that is investment attraction, because of course you always want new business coming in. We also look at entrepreneurship and innovation, because you do also want to be able to grow business from the ground up. Of course, like every good organization, we have marketing and advocacy. We have operational excellence. And then we have a specific bucket of work for catalytic projects. And these are the things that, kind of come in out of the blue that really, help to, revitalize and get a community thriving once again. And one of the big ones here in Lethbridge, of course, is our airport. We are renovating and revitalizing the airport, which is great. So, again, gosh, economic development really encompasses so many different things.
Yeah.
There's a great video out there from the International Economic Development Council, IEDC. And it talks about, this is economic development. And they go through and they talk about so many different things. It's job creation, it's, new job growth, it's, all of this that's happening in the community. And it's true, right? Economic development is pretty much everything that you look at in a community. And it touches many different aspects, which is one of the reasons I love my job.
Speaking of which, what is your role and what do you do as Director of Investment Attraction?
Well, here in Lethbridge, we are a community of about 100,000 people. So we have a fairly small team on our Economic Development Lethbridge organization. So my title is Director of Investment Attraction. So I really do look after, those new businesses coming in and really championing Lethbridge on a national and international stage to get new business interested. But, as a team, we tend to look after a little bit of everything. So I do champion the business retention and expansion stream of our business plan. So I go out into our community and talk to a lot of our business professionals and really help them make connections within the community and within, our government assistance, right? We do a lot of work with the province and a lot of work with Trade Commissioner Service and Global Affairs Canada, right, to really make those key connections to keep everybody moving forward.
Now that's a big role, big job that you have. Tell me a little bit about yourself, your background, and how you got to be where you are now in this role.
Gosh, you have sandwiched these questions really, really well, Mario, because, my background, just like economic development, is very diverse. It's a little bit of everything, kind of all rolled into one. I am originally from the United States. I am an immigrant to Canada, and loving my new country. And like, the video, right, that I referenced a bit ago too, it is a little bit of everything. And it's one of the things that I love. And my background, I was actually born and raised in Arizona. So I always joke about, being an Arizona girl living in Canada and freezing to death. But honestly, I also tell people that, if I'm going to live in Canada, that Lethbridge is a great place to be, right? I have landed in, one of the sunniest places. And again, we are only an hour north of the US border. So it certainly doesn't help me during these times of COVID when the border is closed. But yeah, my background is very diverse. I've dabbled in a little bit of everything. I got actually started in performing arts and managing performing arts centers. I've done sports entertainment and project management, hospitality, tourism, event planning, and it has all led me here to economic development.
Wow. How long have you been there, by the way?
Oh, well, I say I'm a newcomer to Canada, but I've actually been here for 15 years. I'm still cold, still haven't climatized, but, I'm getting there.
And how about how long you've been in your current role?
Oh, so I have been here with Economic Development Lethbridge for over 5 years. It has gone by extremely fast. And, there are those days where you think, oh gosh, have I been here for 5 years already? And every day there's something new. There's a new challenge. There's a new business. There's a new industry that needs help. So it really keeps you on your toes.
Okay. One of the interesting phrases or slogans, if you want to refer to it that way, is brighter together. Tell me what that means and why it's important for Lethbridge.
Great question. So Brighter Together is our new community brand. So a few years ago, we started this, longer than a few years ago. It's probably been 6 or 7 years ago when the community actually started to have this talk about needing a brand that captures the personality of the city, so that way we can continue to promote ourselves into different audiences and help to attract new interest into our community. So that's what the Brighter Together is. It is our community brand. And, this was born out of a lot of research that we did within the community to find out about what everyone here thinks makes us special. And we also did a lot of, outside community engagement too about, same thing, what do people who look at Lethbridge, what actually makes them consider it? And one of the things that we uncovered is that here in Southern Alberta, and, I'll talk about Lethbridge quite a bit, but we do live in an ecosystem and what we like to refer to as a trading area here within Southern Alberta that is quite unique. And we do things together quite often. And, the bright is something that we've talked about for numerous years, right? That, I referenced, again, being from Arizona and how, living in Southern Alberta is quite nice because we do get those sunny days, right? And that is really what helps our agriculture community, right? We are kind of a breadbasket here. Yeah. Being bright also refers to our post-secondary education institutions. And again, even just the innovation in this region, right? We are heavy into agriculture. I always think of them as the original entrepreneurs, right? Those settlers who came out and saw the potential and acted on it, right? And I also think that Bright, talks about value in a really nice way that I think captures Lethbridge in Southern Alberta, because we do have a benefit and we are important to the rest of the world. And that is something that, we've been working on quite a bit, is talking about our agriculture community. And our hashtag is Southern Alberta Feeds the World, right? Because we do have a lot of those major processors here that, really do work to send food out to the rest of the world.
I find it interesting, the word brighter, right? And you mentioned, right, I don't remember the actual number, but I do recall that I know that Lethbridge and then Alberta in general has one of the highest number of days in the year for sunshine, right?
Well, Southern Alberta is really known for this. Medicine Hat, our neighbor to the east, actually does have the highest number of days, right? But we are close behind it. And that is one of the great things about this region as a whole, right? Alberta in general, right? That, we are great for food processing and, the crop diversity that comes out of this still amazes me to this day.
And let's face it, sunshine makes everybody happy, right?
It does. It does. Well, and again, we still get the cold, right? I'm still the Arizona girl freezing to death, but as long as the sun is shining, that certainly helps. And, that's a great, tie into some of the greenhouse development that's happening here in this area, and goes back to, kind of talking about that value. And, when you can cut down on some of those things, that helps a lot in the long run.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about business. When we talk about business, well, a lot of people think of the big corporations in the country, but really the backbone of the economy, whether it's local or whether it's national, is the entrepreneurs and the entrepreneurial spirit across the country. How do entrepreneurs contribute, I guess, to the overall economy in Lethbridge and in Southern Alberta?
Well, you hit the nail on the head, Mario, because within Alberta and within Canada, it really is those small to medium-sized enterprises that are the largest job or the largest business segment in Lethbridge and Southern Alberta, right? No different than the province and the nation. And the nice thing is, again, I always, kind of go back to farming being the original entrepreneurs, right? But everyone starts somewhere. And I always think that, everyone starts as an entrepreneur and then grows from there. And that's the nice thing about what happens here in our region, right? One of the facilities that we own and operate is called Tech Connect, and it is a technology incubator for entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. Right. So I mentioned at the beginning that one of the pillars of our business plan is to grow and incubate companies. And that's one of the ways that we do that, is by providing those support services so that they can grow.
Yeah.
Right. There was a recent study that came out of the government of Canada. And actually, I don't think it was a study. I think it was just a review of the stats. Right. And the small businesses and those entrepreneurs are responsible for most of the job growth that is happening these days, right? We like to think that it's, the shiny new businesses that come into a region, but it's really not. It's, growing businesses from the ground up, working with your existing businesses to see them grow and expand. And that's one of the real focuses that we've had even prior to COVID. But definitely we've seen a big shift now that they really need our help more than anything. And so we've really beefed up a lot of those programs to provide that support and that encouragement to see how the entrepreneurs and the small businesses can help bring solutions to challenges. And that's the nice thing that I see about, the entrepreneurs and the small businesses, is that they really do focus in on that. And that's something that I think we all need right now.
Tech Connect, a center for entrepreneurship and innovation in Lethbridge, has been springboarding entrepreneurs to success for 10 years and counting. Our spirit of innovation is a way of life. We have an incredible environment. Our innovators are not afraid to stand apart because they know that in Lethbridge, we are brighter together. We are Lethbridge. Come and join us. Go to chooselethbridge.ca/entrepreneur and we'll help you move and grow in Lethbridge.
Let's think of myself as a business owner in, I don't know, we'll take, say Winnipeg, okay? And I'm thinking of moving my company and I want to establish roots maybe in Lethbridge. What would you say to me to convince me that Lethbridge is the place for me to bring my business?
Oh, well, I would go back to, again, talking about how we are brighter together and mention those same things, right? That it really does come down to, having that available workforce that you're looking for. And Lethbridge is pretty unique, and our area is really unique because we do have 2 post-secondary education institutions, which is, again, unique for a city our size. Right. Our community is a desirable and welcoming place to live and to raise a family. And that is one of the things that we found in a lot of the research that we do. We do struggle a bit with some of our post-secondary graduates, wanting to go out into the urban locations, right? Mm-hmm. And hit those big cities. Yeah. But one of the great things that we found is a bit of a boomerang effect, right? That they go out and they get experience in those larger city centers, but they always come back to Lethbridge around, that late 20s when they've married, they're settling down, they're looking to raise their kids, mm-hmm. because they know that this is the community wwhere they want to do it, right? It's a good size. Everyone, is connected. We're brighter together. People do things, and help each other out. So I think those are some of the things, that I would talk to a new business about. And one of the kind of the taglines that came out of some of our branding was about how we do things differently here and how we're looking for businesses who think differently and are also looking to do things differently, right? So
I would imagine too that there's a quality of life aspect here too, right? Smaller community, obviously housing affordability is much better than some of the major centers, whether they be Toronto, Vancouver, or Calgary, even Edmonton. Is that an advantage for Lethbridge in attracting people and businesses there?
Yes, very much so. One of our areas of growth is in that technology and innovation piece, right? And when you look at some of those key centers like, Vancouver and Toronto, and, when you can position, some of the areas, like Lethbridge up against them to, say, hey, look at, again, the value that you would be getting in coming into this community. Yeah. That speaks a lot. I have a colleague, Mike Prosu. He is our market intelligence advisor. And, he's done some great work about, putting this all on our website under the market data section to really, talk about and provide not just anecdotal or, a great story, but the data behind that story, right? And what that looks like and what are all of those, rates of change and the information that you can benchmark against other places.
Yeah. Now, you've mentioned a few industries like technology, agriculture, et cetera. I'm just wondering, are there any particular industries or areas of growth that you see in the future for Lethbridge and the vicinity, I guess?
Gosh, there are so many, Mario. But yeah, Agriculture for us is huge. We did participate in the recent mid-sized cities report that's done by the Conference Board of Canada.
Yeah.
And again, agriculture is a huge one for us, right? We are not as involved in oil and gas. We are different than many other communities in Alberta. Agriculture really is our staple. It is 20% of our GDP here locally, and that's just for agriculture. Then you add in all of those support services, and those do include things like supply chain and logistics. We grow a lot of that commodity here, and we've got to be able to get it into markets and out into the rest of the world. Manufacturing goes right along hand in hand, and those are some of the key successes that we've had here in Lethbridge, is that we do get some of the key processors coming in, but then there's all of those support services that join in with them in order to make a really cohesive ecosystem. Technology I've talked about before, and one of the great things too about this area that is starting to get more coverage. And again, most people, when you say, oh, hey, do you know where Lethbridge is? They have some kind of comment about the wind. And I haven't gotten used to it yet, but I have learned to appreciate it, right? The wind always brings in the change. And of course, for us, that means that we've seen a lot in renewable energy, right? Wind is big, solar is big, we're getting into geothermal, into microgeneration, right? So, a lot of these large processing facilities, right, are huge users of the utilities. So looking for, again, going back to that value, any kind of value that we can provide, and being able to rely a little on that wind power and the solar power, that comes in handy and is a great benefit.
You mentioned the fact that Lethbridge isn't as dependent as other areas of Alberta on the oil and gas industry. Diversity, is a big idea right now out in the province, but it seems to me that Lethbridge has embraced a diversity, economic diversity for years now, correct?
Yes, and it's been one of those things that keeps getting us some of those headlines, right? I talked about the Conference Board of Canada report, and, one of their headlines was that, Lethbridge is firing on all cylinders, right? So now, don't get me wrong, when the rest of the province hurts, so do we, and we see a lot of that trickle down, right? But Lethbridge has always been known for its stability, right? And it may not be as great when there's a boom happening in the rest of the province, right? We don't see that same benefit, but we also don't see the bust when it happens. So I think if you go and you ask a lot of our community, some of what came out of our branding efforts was really around being grounded, and that is tied into our agriculture roots, right? But yes, everyone would, I think, rather find the stability and be diverse and be able to handle things as they happen, rather than to go the other way at this point. So it is definitely a benefit for our area.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about some of the initiatives, research, surveys that Economic Development Lethbridge has done to support entrepreneurs?
Oh, gosh. So all economic development agencies, I think, have a real focus on that market intelligence piece, right? It's finding that information, gathering it, analyzing it, and then putting it out, right? So we have done a lot of internal work to do surveys out to the businesses, right? To find out what's happening and get some of those anecdotal responses, and identify some areas where maybe trends are happening where businesses aren't doing as well, or maybe, again, to highlight some trends where businesses are doing really well. And how can we meet both of those needs, right? So we do a lot of that work. I think over the last year, we're we've done like 4, which is hard, right? That everybody gets a little bit of that survey fatigue.
Yeah.
But we also work with partners across Canada and internationally to mine and uncover some of key, again, market intelligence to provide back to the businesses, right? And I, again, would mention, that market data section on our website. We get a lot of entrepreneurs on there, and we have partnered with a great company called Local Intel, where, we provide the information, but then they also tell, especially entrepreneurs and small businesses, how you can use that information. Because just knowing what the information is part of the battle. It's how do you use the information in order to make those informed decisions, right?
Yeah,
and then again, I think, the last part of that is just sharing that information out, right? And that is, part of the challenge, I think, for many people is, once you've got the information, how do you get it out and, into the hands of the people who need it? And we do that in many ways, this podcast being one of them. So thank you. And, also, our social media channels, we host events, and there are a plethora of them, coming out. Our Tech Connect team has a program called Tech Connected, with an ED at the end for that educational component, really to, help entrepreneurs and small businesses to make sure that they are ready for anything that the world has to throw at them. And we have found that out this year, that the world has a lot to throw, and you need to be ready, and you need to have a good plan, and that's part of the process, and we're here to help them do that.
Great. So, Erin, what does the future hold for Brighter Together and for Lethbridge?
Oh gosh. Well, our plan, Mario, I think, is to just keep getting brighter. Right? That's always good. That's all we can do. Keep bringing in new voices. Keep working together, and that's really the goal of our business plan. Has always been to keep doing that, right? We talk a little bit about those that internal audience, right? To keep working with our businesses, helping them to shift, to innovate, right? And create new opportunities just within our own community.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that external look is, and again, thank you for your assistance with this, but putting Lethbridge out on that map and getting everyone talking about it, because and a lot of the commodities that are grown within Canada, and a lot of that animal protein, a lot of it does come from this region, and there is a benefit not only to our community but to the province of Alberta and to Canada as a whole, to really tell that story out into the world. So we want Lethbridge to be known as a place that is brighter together.
Okay, super. Well, thanks very much, Erin, for joining us today.
Great. Thank you, Mario. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, super. That was Erin Crane, who is Director, Investment Attraction at Economic Development Lethbridge. This has been Canada's podcast with Mario Toneguzzi. Thanks for joining us today.
Bold, vibrant, technological. In Lethbridge, our spirit of innovation is more than just the way we do business. It's the way we live and the way we succeed. We'll help you to kickstart, innovate, and grow in Lethbridge, Southern Alberta's hub for innovation and technology. It's the bright, affordable choice for business builders. Go to chooselethbridge.ca/entrepreneur and we'll help you move and grow in Lethbridge.